Hey everybody, welcome to another MXGP virtual studio show live with me, Paul Malin, and Lisa Leyland, where today's guest will be the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna factory rider Jed Beaton from Australia. Although he's not in Australia, he's just down the road in Belgium. So we'll catch up with him in a moment. But before we do, Lisa, how are you? We've had another week off, and what have you been up to this week? How's it been for you?
Hey, Paul. Hey, everyone. Yeah, it's been pretty chilled this week. We've had nice weather. I think everyone has. So topped up the tannage, important things like that. That's about it.
Topping up the tan, dipping in the pool, topping up the tan.
It was hard work, but someone had to do it. So
yeah, lockdown.
That was
lockdown life.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, look, let's catch up with our guest then, our first and only guest today, obviously. Jed Beaton, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna Factory Racing. Good to see you, Jed. And I tell you what, rocking the beard, rocking the lockdown hairdo. How are you, man? The Tasmanian wolf devil.
Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. Just, like you said, rocking the lockdown hairdo and, getting along with it.
Getting along, me too. We're going to be going to the barbers as soon as they open, I think. So you're in Belgium at the moment, but I noticed a lot of your fellow Aussies, Mitch Evans because he needed surgery, but Bailey Malkovich, Nathan Crawford, Wilson Todd, they all disappeared. How come you stayed here for lockdown in Belgium, and how come you didn't take the opportunity to go home like they did?
Well, just the main reason was not knowing what's going on really. The first I don't know, I'd say month, no one really knew what was going on. So I felt like it was quite a difficult time to just pack up and go home. Especially I didn't really have a reason to. So I just stuck around, and then I didn't think all the tracks would get closed and stuff. So that also made it a little bit difficult, but that was only closed for I would say a month and a half, 2 months, and it was quite nice to have some time off the bike and relax anyway. So
but at least being in Belgium, I'm just down the road from you. Actually, at least the lockdown restrictions weren't as strict and severe as there were in other places. You could still get out on your bicycle. You could still run, do certain running and things like that. So, are you glad you stayed though? You think you made the right decision and to get back with the team as soon as possible, as soon as you possibly could?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's the right decision because, if I went back to Australia, obviously you have to spend the 2 weeks in quarantine and just a lot of stuff like that, which just makes it difficult. Then I'd get a bike back home maybe, and then, but it's just not the same when you go to the track with the team. It's all quite easy and you get looked after. So, for sure, I think I made the right decision, and it's good now that we can do a fair bit of riding, and hopefully we're back at the races soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it does seem like things have been pretty back to normal in Belgium for a few weeks now. Are you enjoying getting that normality back, or did you quite enjoy the peace and quiet we all had?
Yeah, well, it was quite different at the start. Everyone was just kind of staying at home because they didn't know what happened at the same time. But now the restrictions are lifting. It's pretty crazy to go down the street now and ride past all the restaurants and just see people sitting out there everywhere and nothing ever happened again. So that's quite weird. But it's cool at the same time. I haven't really been out that much, but I'll have to hit up the dinner soon.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about last year. You missed the last 5 rounds due to injury. Just tell us, how much of a disappointment was that for you? And do you think perhaps a top 5 overall result would have been possible had you had not been injured?
That's quite difficult to answer. It's obviously a disappointment to miss so many rounds and stuff, but at the same time, I kind of had a disappointing year. I had just injury on injury, so it was quite hard to get the confidence back and make myself ride good when I knew that I was just hurt all the time. So that's the reason why I went back to Australia, spent a few weeks there and got healthy again. And then, it's been a whole new reboot since then. I feel comfortable on the bike again and everything seems to be going well. So, to be honest, I don't know if top 5 would have been possible last year because I missed so many rounds and stuff like that. But obviously consistency is a key, and last year I wasn't consistent. So I think that was a little bit out of reach. But this year, I think it's definitely possible.
All right. Well, obviously, we've had 2 rounds of the championship so far. You're currently 3rd in the MX2 standings. And I guess in that respect, the season's got off to the best possible start because race 1, Matterley Basin, 2nd place finish, career best result for you in MX2. Previously, you'd had 3rd place finishes, 4th place finishes, but 2nd place. You must have been buzzing after that first race when you came back, even though you've got another job to do in the 2nd race.
Yeah, for sure. The first race was, I don't know, I didn't get off to the best of start, so I wasn't really expecting to be like in 2nd, and then a few guys went down and then a few things happened, made a couple of passes, and I didn't actually realise I was in 2nd until I looked up and seen Yago. And then I was like, oh man, I must be in 2nd, but at the same time I was quite happy, but I seen Yago just in front of me, so I felt like I could have went for a race win, so I was quite pumped about the result, but also disappointed at the same time because, I've never obviously won a race in MX2 and it was just there in front of me. So I was quite disappointed about that. But to start off the season that way, it was also a positive and quite good. So I can't really complain.
Yeah, well, the clips that we're watching here, 2 riders on the way up towards the finish line. You passed 2 riders right there. You obviously liked the place. It was a shame about the 2nd race, though. That little tip over when you were charging back through again just dropped you back down to 6th place eventually. But you looked like you were enjoying yourself, though. What is it about Matterley that sort of seemed to click for you? Because it was also Mitch Evans in MXGP had a good weekend, from Australia as well that weekend.
Yeah, like I just really enjoy the track there. It's got nice deep ruts. It's quite rough track and flowing open as well. So that's like my kind of track. I like those type of conditions, and I'm like quite comfortable. So I feel like it's easier to push on them type of things, and it's just good fun. And when you're having fun, you obviously ride good. So this is quite a good round for me, and like you said in the 2nd race, obviously that tip over cost me a bit, so that made it quite difficult. But like in the 2nd moto, it was a little bit like raining halfway, so that made it quite difficult. And then I don't know, kind of got out of rhythm for a couple of laps, and then obviously went down, and then that was just the end of it. But
Obviously, the guy that kind of just edged you off the podium that day, Mikkel Harup, your old teammate. Were you surprised at how well he rode that weekend? Because I know, first weekend, first GP of the year. I don't think too many people expected it, maybe you included, or maybe you know him a little bit better than most of us, having seen how he worked previously.
Yeah, he was like, obviously like a teammate, but he was also on Ice 1, so I actually didn't see him that much. But for sure, he rode good that weekend, and it surprised a lot of people, I'm sure. But to be honest, he was quite good over the whole weekend. So to be honest, it wasn't really such a surprise. It was just some good riding. So hats off to him.
Well, watching you at Matterley, it did seem like you had a productive winter, getting yourself back in shape. Would you say physically and mentally you're at the best shape of your life at the moment?
I wouldn't say like best shape of my life. Obviously, you can always improve and get better in many ways. But at the same point, I feel quite good now. Like we've had a good, solid off season and preseason with no injuries, and obviously that helps a lot coming into a season. Like just of course with confidence type of way. So I feel like we're in quite a good spot right now, and it'll be really nice to get the season back underway and start trying to tick off some results like we started off.
Yeah, well, you probably needed that physical and mental strength at round 2 in Holland. Just tell us, how difficult were the conditions on race day?
Yeah, that was pretty brutal, actually. The track was so heavy. Obviously, in winter here, we ride quite a lot of tracks that are like similar, but to be honest, that track was something different. It was just so heavy, and I don't think anyone was like kind of prepared or ready for that. It was just a one-off race that was pretty crazy. So that was definitely mentally and physically tough, that one.
Well, this is race 2, another 2nd place finish there as well. And again, just like we saw at Matterley, fighting through the pack. So Was that race more satisfying than the first race? Would you say? Because obviously than the first race at Matterley, because Matterley more kind of even conditions for everybody. These conditions were very difficult. Visibility, rain, goggles, a lot of problems. The heavy conditions as well, boggy patches, and a lot easier to make mistakes. So would you say you're more satisfied with the way that you rode through in that second race at Valkenswaard than maybe the second place that you got in Matterley, or second place is second place, you'll take it anyway?
No, I'm quite satisfied with the result in Valkenswaard, obviously, because sand has never been my strong point. So it's quite nice to see that the long winters here are starting to pay off and getting used to conditions like that. Obviously, it's hard for everyone with the conditions and rain and everything, especially team members and stuff like that. But for us, even on goggle setup, it makes it quite hard. So with that type of conditions, you can't really do anything but your best.
Yeah.
Well, it did look like you bagged yourself a podium until Maxime Renault made a crucial pass with just the 2 laps to go. During that race, at any point, did you know how close you were to standing on the box?
Well, yes and no, because obviously the first race I had a small crash and then finished 6th, and it's obviously hard to get on the podium then if someone's really consistent throughout the weekend. So, but obviously with the second race and it was going quite well, I was the last few laps I was oh, maybe I am on the podium. But yeah, obviously with Yago, he rode really well to come back from dead last to a podium, or a good enough position to be on the podium again. So yeah, I was more satisfied with that weekend leaving with a 4th than I was in Matterley, because for sure it's not my type of track, and to leave there for both second round and finish 4th both times, I was quite satisfied.
Well, it's pretty consistent, isn't it? Obviously, you have seen the view from the podium on a couple of occasions. France, 2017, the final round at Villars, Portugal as well, the following year in 18. After the first 2 rounds and 4th in the championship, a couple of second place finishes, are you expecting podiums to come this year on a regular basis? Do you feel that you're ready to challenge for those top 3 positions week in, week out?
Yeah, for sure. We obviously don't put in all this hard work just to go out there and get a 5th or something like that, So I expect myself to be up there and fighting for the top positions regularly. It's obviously you got to stay healthy and be consistent, and at the same time you got to go fast. So I think you just got to be really smart about it and just play it how it comes. Obviously, starts are a really important part of that, and I feel like I've been working on them quite a lot, through the off season. So that obviously helps out a lot, and with my confidence being up, it's obviously another reason to try and make the most of it while it's there.
Yeah, just briefly, there's been a lot of social media chatter, website chatter this week of France starting their championship in August. Maybe there's a couple of races coming up in Czech Republic and things like that. And just looking at sort of names potentially who could be going, your name or your team for sure look like they might be going and doing some what are again sort of pre-season races, if you like. There's a race in Czech next week, I think. Are you going to be down there?
I'm not sure yet. We leave that up to the team manager with Rasmus, and he sort of organises all that thing. I think he entered us into it just in case we want to do it or everyone's ready to do it. But at this stage, I'm not sure. I haven't really asked too much. For me, I don't mind if we go racing or if we stay here and train. For me, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, because this was part of the concern, wasn't it? Obviously, since Valkenswaard, and then we were sort of not going racing for a couple of weeks, then a month, then a couple of months, and then 3 months or whatever. And I think people's concern was going straight into the next GP, having had no pre-season races like you would normally as a part of a regular season. So you'd like to get at least 1 race in under your belt, though, wouldn't you? 1 or 2, maybe, if you could.
Yeah, obviously, it's nice to get a gate drop for sure before the season kicks off again, but it doesn't really feel like it's, I don't know, when I ride now, it doesn't feel like we haven't raced for a really long time. So it's difficult. I think everyone's different, and for sure a lot of people would like a gate drop, but for me, I don't really mind. I just want to get back into the swing of things and racing. Obviously, on a GP, you get a lot of ride time, so for me, it's not so important to get that gate drop. It's just like, yeah, of course, if we do the quality race, it's going to be nerve-wracking then, but as soon as you get that first one out of the way, you kind of like, oh, it's nothing different. It's still dropping the same.
Actually, just before we look at some other pictures and stuff like that, you mentioned Rasmus a moment ago, RJ, team manager, new team manager role for him this year. In the past, he's kind of been like a bit of a trainer and mentor in the background. And how's his role changed, and how's that relationship changed with you and TKO and the young teen wolf, Kaider Wolf?
To be honest, it hasn't really changed that much. Obviously, he just spends a lot more time in the office and stuff like that. But every time we go to the track, yeah, he's there. So it's not really different. And then, like, say if we go training, he regularly joins. So to be honest, it's not too much different. I think just for him, it's a lot more organising and stuff like that, and stuff like after hours, because he's still doing a lot of stuff with us. So yeah, I think he's fit into the role quite good, and I'm pretty sure he's comfortable with it. So everything's running smoothly, and it's all good.
Cool.
Okay. Well, Jed, we have a selection of pictures for you. So maybe you can tell us what they mean to you and what's going on. The first one is this. How's Mini-Me doing?
Yeah, he's quite good, actually. He's been quite fast at the practice tracks lately, and he's grown a lot since then. So no, it's good to have him around. He's a young kid, and just likes to joke around all the time. And I don't know, I kind of treat him as like a little brother. He's a funny little kid, and I like mucking around with him quite a lot, and yeah, trying to grow him up quicker than what his actual age is. So just got to toughen him up a little bit sometimes.
Put some meat on his bones.
Yeah.
You guys can almost be twins, though. You know, you've got the same bike, same number, but I bet his beard game isn't as strong as yours.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
He's got a ways to go. He's got a ways to go with that. Hey, he's probably doesn't even know how to spell shave, let alone have a shave yet.
I mean, that would just be weird. That would be weird if I was walking around with a full-on beard. That's something wrong with that picture, I think.
No, I think he'd have a bit of a ginge beard.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Next pick is, let's have a look. This one, 25 kilometers sounds like a lot of fun to me. Not. Just tell us what's happening here.
Obviously, the Wings for Life had a run for people who can't. So I signed up and participated in that, see how far I could go. But yeah, after Madeley, when I broke both my legs, I don't love running so much. But yeah, I just got as far as I could and dealt with the pain as much as I could. I think I did like 5 more kilometers just to see how far I could really go. But after that, I was completely done.
So the 24 kilometers on the side, then you didn't actually do that?
No.
Oh.
No.
You just burst his bubble then. Okay, next pick. Okay, you seem more keen to sink the drink than TKO here. Him not so much. So what's happening in this pick?
I think that was over Christmas time when we were doing some stuff for like our Rockstar posts. But yeah, Thomas gets pretty excited when the camera comes out. So as you can tell, he's really into it. But that's just Thomas. So I've got to try and liven him up a little bit when we do stuff like that. But yeah, I can't do anything about it.
You're there grinning, going, "Yeah, I'm ready for this," and he's like, "Hey, here's mine."
Just yeah.
He's actually, Lisa is more interested in wanting the pulse.
Yeah, the pulse.
Danish sausage.
He liked the sausage, didn't he?
He loved the sausage.
Is he a good guy to be around though, TKO, even away from the track?
Yeah, for sure. Like he's pretty quiet, like around all the cameras and stuff like that. But he opens up a bit when you're around the workshop and going cycling and stuff. So he's actually really enjoyable to be around and good to have a joke around with. And obviously, he's been quite good in the World Championship the last couple of years. So he knows what he's doing. It's also good to have him as a training partner and riding partner at the track. It's I think we've actually got like quite a good teammate relationship, to be honest. Like a lot of people, I don't know, don't get along so well when they're teammates because they just want to beat each other. But we've still got that competitive spirit, but get along at the same time. So I really like that. Okay,
good stuff. Next pick. Tell us, is this where the inspiration came from to grow your own candy floss? What is going on here?
That's also for the Rockstar Energy postings. We were just trying to come up with ideas, but yeah, that's the start of it. I hope it doesn't turn out white like that. Maybe that's a few more years and then it'll start turning white. But yeah, I'm working on it to stay brown and long for now.
Brilliant.
So actually, what's because normally when you see people grow beards or grow their hair, they say, "Oh yeah, I'm not shaving it until, you know, that first win or that first podium or that whatever it is." You know what I mean? So, are you going to get rid of this before the first race, or is the candy floss staying?
Yeah, I don't know. It all depends. I haven't really thought about it that much, but if we go back to racing and we're riding faster than what we normally do, it might blow off in the wind. So
you say it looks loosely attached.
I have to be pretty careful about that.
A little bit of double-sided tape just holding it down at the moment.
Oh God. Okay. Well, Jed, we do have some questions for you from Facebook. The first one's from Shade Brady Photography, and he says, "What sparked your love for riding dirt bikes?"
Thanks, Shade, for the question. Shane for the question. To be honest, it was more growing up in Tasmania, and my brother, he's like 7 years older than me, so he got his first bike when he was 7 years old, so it was pretty much just after I was born. And mum and dad said that he couldn't go riding around the paddock and stuff without taking me. So I guess that's what sparked it off. And then other than that, I got my own bike when I was 3, and then just it all took off from there.
I just wonder actually if Shane Brady was an M&M fan. Will the real Shane Brady please stand up?
Paul, you're on a roll today.
Thanks for your question, Shane.
We promise not to insult all of our viewers.
No. He'll be all right. He'll get it.
Nothing
I
wrong
think
with
people
Shane
get it. No.
Okay, Dan Koulis. Why the beard? Was it a bet or just to see how long you can grow it?
To be honest, I didn't even think about it. It just went into COVID, and then I was just like, oh, I'm gonna let things run wild. All my hair and facial hair. I just I've just been keep going with that mindset for now, and haven't really thought much else about it. So just running it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Gilbert 5033. How did you pick to race with number 14?
Oh, I think that was when I was with HRC. When I went from EMX to MX2 for the first time, I had to choose a number. And normally in Australia, I was number 12, but Nagel had that here. And then I just chose like the closest number to that, which was 14. And then, I actually quite liked it on the bike. And ever since then, I think it's my number. And I don't think I'll get rid of it for a while.
No.
Cool. Okay, I have no idea who this guy is. Dylan Walsh. How much do you miss having me around? Some guy called Dylan Walsh, some random...
Is he still around, is he?
Obviously so.
I haven't really heard from him for a while. No.
I know.
To be honest, I do miss having him around. He lived in Lommel, and it was good fun to have him around. It's been different without him, but it was good times when he was here.
I like Dylan. Dylan's proper gangster, man. He thinks he's got the chain around his neck, and he goes all gangster hoodies and everything.
You must know him too well.
Yeah. And actually, he was good value on our studio show last year, dude. We had many outtakes with him on our
we did.
end of season. Yeah. Hi, Dylan,
Okay.
by the way.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dylan. Next question is from Live Motocross Magazine. What is your favorite moment in your career to date and why?
That's a tough one. It would obviously be winning the Australian MX2 Championship. That's really high up there. And also, when I got my first podium, that was quite special, like in Villars. Because I don't think anyone like really expected that, even myself. I didn't really expect that, and then to get a result like that, I was quite happy with. So yeah, both of them would have to be quite high up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Matteo B707. Do you get nervous at the gates?
Yeah, a little bit. I think everyone does. It's quite strange if you don't. You have that adrenaline rush, like you want to get a good start, and there's 40 other guys next to you that want the same. So a little bit, but as soon as the 5-second board flips over, your mind just switches and you don't think about anything else but the gate drops. So yeah, there's more nerves probably when we just go onto the grid and have to sit there for a while.
Okay. Philip Gavick, besides riding your bike, what other training are you doing?
Obviously, just like the same as everyone else, you know, just running, cycling, that kind of things. It's just at the moment it's quite difficult. We're doing like longer sort of things and everything like that. So yeah, I think it's everyone the same.
Actually, Philip, I have it on very good authority that he's going running after the studio show.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, Matthias Grining, how's your scrub game?
Matthias, Thomas's mate, just on here trying to get a little bit of stuff. Obviously, it's not as good as his. He's pretty happy with how he scrubs, so I'm going to say it's not as good as his.
But actually, the floors are looking good today, so you've done a good job this morning before you came on air.
Thanks.
Fabiano SD, how do you mentally prepare yourself for racing?
Hi, Fabiano. To be honest, it's more just with training really well and having good days at the track. So that gives you a good mindset for going into the weekend. I think that's the most important thing.
Okay. Finally, we have Annie Lee. How is Rocco doing?
Yeah, he's going good. That's my little puppy. That's actually my girlfriend's sister. So she knows a little bit about our little dog. I don't know. We've had him since the start of lockdown, and he's grown up quite fast, chewing stuff everywhere and causing a little bit of havoc. But he's starting to grow out of it.
Cool.
But Jed, you do know a puppy is for life, not just for lockdown. You do know that, right?
Yeah, I do know that now. At the start, we probably didn't know that, but that's sinking in right now.
Yeah. a lot of puppy responsibility, dog walks and feeding times and everything else. But dogs are cool, though, man. Dogs are cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
Reason to get up in the morning.
All the questions. Thank you guys for sending all your questions through to Facebook.
No problem. Yeah, and thanks, guys, for your questions. Just before you go, then, Jed, what have you got planned over the rest of the weekend? We know you're going running shortly, or at some point today. You know, when your breakfast has died down, or sometime after lunch, or sometime before tea time, or sometime just before bed, just before the sun goes down.
Yeah. Oh, it would have been good yesterday to get that done just before the sun goes down.
Oh, don't even go there, man. Seriously, it was so hot here yesterday, 33 degrees and real humid, no air either. But fortunately, we had some rain in the night. It's a bit cooler today.
Yeah, I think it'll be more enjoyable training today. So yeah, I might head out soon for the run, and then obviously got some more training on Sunday, which will be a little cycle. But the weather doesn't look quite as good for Sunday, so I don't know how motivated I am for that one.
Yeah, no, jump on the turbo trainer, then do it indoors. You'll be right. Anyway, right, we are out of time, but thanks to Jed Beaton, Rockstar Energy, Husqvarna Factory Racing. As always, Lisa Leyland over there in Barcelona, and our production crew in Italy, Christian and Gabriele. And of course, we'll be back in a week's time with another live studio show. pretty much the same time, I guess, but just follow our social media channels just to be sure. But once again, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the show today. Good sport, Jed, and thanks for your questions. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you at a racetrack very, very soon. So that's all we have to do. Thanks. See you next time. Bye for now.